Okay, we're gonna title today WOT. WOT. Wins, observations, takeaways. Can you introduce yourselves, gentlemen?
Hello to everybody who's watching. My name is Albert James Yancey III.
I'm Art Medina.
Resident Garden, better known as OG1.
Okay, now Yancey, you know, OG1. All right, tell the people a little something about yourself.
A little something about myself is I was incarcerated for almost 27 years. Um, I've gotten out basically 13 years ago, and by the grace of God, uh, just realizing His promises of restoring what the locusts of Eden, and He's doing everything that above and beyond I could think or imagine. So
Okay, Yancey, you got anything for the people before we start?
I just thank you for tuning in today. Hopefully, there's something that we say of our experience of going in to a juvenile facility, Giddings State School in Giddings, Texas, where we had the opportunity to go in and just share a little bit about our stories. But understand for the people who are watching that the people that we went and talked to today, they are tomorrow's generation. They are the people that we're using our past experience to try to help detour them from going down the same path that each one of us made.
OG, what you got to say?
I just want to say this here, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the presence right now of some powerful brothers, man. I mean, standing in this group here, man. I think we got over 100 years that we done gave away to the state of Texas. We done gave that away, but we stand before you to say we standing on our business. We building up a mission and we building up a future so young people can look at us as an example. So we standing here not only as people from the past, we standing here examples to send a message back to the community. Stand on your business, do your work, put in your work, and change is real. Change is real.
So before I ask the men what their takeaways were, I want to bring this to your attention. A lot of people are getting out of TDCJ and having a little success, a lot of success, uber success. But what I want to leave on your minds is sacrifices to get where you want to be. A lot of times people are looking at tank radio, they're looking at all the other things that are going on the Polunsky and the other units, and they're not understanding sometimes that means not cussing somebody out. Sometimes that means humbling yourself and stay out of trouble. When you get out, and whether you own your own business, whether you run a non-for-profit, whether you work a 9 for 5, to get ministry opportunities like these, you're going to have to fill out the paperwork. You're going to have to be present at some trainings. You're going to have to get up early in the morning and maybe get home late at night. So please know all these things that you're seeing on these tablets that you're considering success, know that there's hard work and hard work pays off. So any wins from the day, anybody want to share?
One of the things that I would have to say if we was to consider it a win is how we were able to go in and talk to the young men, some real talk. You know, whether it's TJJD or it's TDC, they have programs, they have protocols that's put in place. But sometimes lived experience outweighs anything that we can be taught in a college, in a classroom, or in a counseling session. So having the opportunity to go in and speak with these young men today is the opportunity to say, hey, I'm taking all of the pain, all the trauma, and I'm exposing it to them, hopefully to give the young men that we talk to the opportunity to allow the things that they are suppressing to be rejected out of them so they can see life from a different angle. So my takeaway was when we was writing the index cards, we gave index cards to all those who was in attendance today, and we asked them to write down a question that they had. And believe it or not, they asked some very powerful questions of things that they really want to know. And so being able to read and hearing, hey man, your story impacted my life. One guy came to me and said, man, y'all story empowered me. It encouraged me. So if we walk away from here and that individual is empowered and encouraged, then that gives us the benefit to know, hey, change is possible. So when that young man starts changing, then that allows the other men who are around them to see change and know that change is possible.
Anybody else wins from today?
Yeah, one of the wins I think is really on different levels that include ourselves. And I'm thinking of Genesis chapter 50, verse 20. But as for you, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good in order to bring it about as it is this day to save many people alive. You know, so it doesn't necessarily mean that what's right now you need to use this time to get those tools because you're going to need them when you step out here. And God will use that to get glory and to further his kingdom.
Okay, okay. OG.
I think one of my wins and one of the wins that I seen today is that the power in our young people wanting to hear what wisdom really is. When they see men standing up and giving wisdom, faith, and confidence that change is real, they give you their attention because they're starving for something that we starve for as a young person to say that help me, I'm trying to get out the pain that I'm in. So my win today is to seeing in the eyes of our young people that thank you for doing what you do and keeping up the faith.
A win for me was one of the young men that I would see in some of the classes I do at Gardner Betts, which is a youth facility in Austin. He was here today, and his next stop is home. And to see him smiling and speaking and being like, hey, man, what's up? And man, I'm ready to get out and I'm going to do good. My point is, all exchanges when you locked up aren't good exchanges. And it's a lot of people that are trying to talk to you or were trying to talk to me, and you never know how weighty those conversations are unless you run across them. And so when I ran across him, that just made me smile and know that, it makes a difference. I know by faith it makes a difference what we do, but then hearing and seeing it, that was a win. What about some observations? Anybody have some observations today?
Observation.
I'm going to tell you what I observed. What I observed is when the young people see that somehow, some way you've been affected by some kind of pain, that allows them to share their pain.
Yeah.
In other words, before the stories, it's going to be some mass or some folks, man, what's up, what's up. But when the stories came out, the way some people's face, their countenance, it opened up, the way their conversations opened up. And the only thing that I could see that resonated, look, man, we done been through some things. Y'all done been through some things. Know that this is a place and a time we can talk about them. It gave them liberty for those who wanted to talk. That was an observation.
So one of the observations that I observed as the men in both sessions, because we had two sessions, a morning session and an afternoon session, and each one of the men who walked in, you could tell that they have been beat down by life. The
Mm.
countenance was low. They couldn't look at you in the eyes. Their soft skills of eye-to-eye contact has been lost. And for them to walk in like a deflated balloon, shoulders sunk back, head down, slumped over in their seats when we begun. But as they exited, they had got to a point where they were so thirsty and they were so alive. It's like going into the Sahara Desert and pouring some water on it.
What
All
desert?
they wanted
What
was
desert?
more.
What desert?
The Sahara Desert.
Go ahead, keep talking.
And pour some water on it. And so as a result of that, they was thirsty. And so we got the opportunity to be able to pour out into the men that was there some knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to the point that they did not want to leave the area that they were in.
No, listen.
Some of them was clownish. Some of them was at the point right now where they're feeling like if I change, then I'm being weak. But we was able to change that trajectory of their lives as they were exiting. You could just see it written all over their face. It was a song that said, you don't have to say a word because it's written all over your face.
Let me say this on my observation. We can't forget the staff.
Okay.
The staff spoke up. I mean, you could tell the release that come off the staff to really give appreciation for men they see to come in to step up to deal with some work that they deal with every day. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, they was very grateful. They were very appreciative, the staff was, to see that there's people out here that really care about a population that they deem to come to every day, to see that our young people is in dying need of somebody to feed hope to them. So we was great hope trailer today. We was feeding hope to young people, but like I said, the staff fed on it just as well as the young people did.
Yeah, I had a similar observation as Yancey. It seemed like if the guys were just there, and then suddenly it seemed to shift a little bit. They were starting to tune in and just kind of, especially when we answered the questions that they had given on these cards. It was obvious that we had their attention, man. Praise God for that.
Okay. I've got two major takeaways. If anybody else, OG right here, he still got a little slickness in him. I'm gonna tell you what happened. We come outside, we riding the golf cart. Now you see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 of us. Okay, so you know them little golf carts. It's only supposed to be 2 in the back and 1 in the front, 1 driving. So I call myself, being an astute observer, I ran and got on the left side. I say somebody gonna end up in the middle. OG come out, walk all the way over to the side like, bro, you gonna bump over? So then I'm like, bro, it's some space. He said, oh, come on. Then they followed along, so I bumped on her. I said, that's a little slick.
In the old African tradition, it's elderly. You always get permission from your elders first.
So Yancey should have rode in the middle then. Okay.
So therefore, as the elder, I had the first right of way to all things on that truck before you youngsters got on there.
Okay. My other takeaway for me, it is good to fellowship with brothers, man, and we're gonna continue to encourage you. I never went to SEG. All 3 of these men at some point or another were in SEG. And I'm talking to the folks in SEG because y'all always catch us and you're like, hey, man, all 3 of these men were in SEG and they're out and doing well and giving back. So even if you find yourself in SEG and you're watching this on the tablet or wherever you at, don't count yourself out, because I'm not going to tell you everything, but I'm going to say one of them had 200 years. Another had 100-some years. Another got a life sentence. All of them are out. Miracles are possible with God. Anybody else in closing?
Peace, power, keep your head up.
Know that we love you. We haven't forgot about you. As a matter of fact, I wear a white t-shirt every day to remind me of the men and women that I left behind when I walked out over 5.5 years ago. Spent 27 years, 5 months, and 1 day in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. There were some days that I sat on closed custody. There was some days while I was in administrative segregation. There were some days when I was on minimum custody, medium custody, where with a life sentence, I never thought that I would have the opportunity to exit. But I'm free. So if that don't do anything else from what we said in this whole video, know that your today will not be your tomorrow. Even a cloud that is full of rain runs out of rain.
Say, man, that
Love
man,
y'all.
I ain't know what the man was going to do when he was pulling up his t-shirt. Now he quoting African proverbs. Come on, what you got?
I just want to say that don't wait till tomorrow, because we're not promised tomorrow. And Edwin Cole said it best, and I said it to these youngsters, and I'll share it with you. Edwin Cole said this: a change isn't a change until a change takes place. It's really that simple. And so, as for one who did over 15 and a half years in ADSEG, solitary confinement, I can tell you, man, I know how it is to be in there and think that the walls are closing in. Instead of 6 by 9, they're 5 by 8, 4 by 7. I know those times, man, but guess what? Hang in there, study the Word of God, and I promise you, God will honor it, man. God will honor it.
All right. It's been one for today. Looking forward to the next show. Have a great day.
Peace out.